I assumed if you lived in Indiana and wanted to be a doctor, you went to Indiana University School of Medicine, so I only applied to one medical school. I think as a youngster, I read a lot of books about physicians in global surgery settings, and I was so impressed by the relief and pain and suffering they were able to bring to those settings. I think that's what initially inspired me. I think the stimulus for me to head down the path of surgical education, and particularly surgical education research, was the vacuum of knowledge about how we do things and why we do things the way we do. There were other factors. I attended one of the early meetings of the Association for Surgical Education, which really was this group of the best educators in surgery in the United States, and listening to their inspiration and their passion around teaching. This happened as a chief resident. And it was really during that period as a chief resident that I became so passionate about teaching, and particularly realizing there has to be a way to do it even better than we're doing it currently. And that led me down the path. I then met other education researchers that inspired me to begin a career in education research. I think the driving force for my decision to come back to Indiana University, my alma mater, was really my experience at Southern Illinois University. That's really the first chance as a department chair to really build a culture of excellence in surgical education. But the criticism was easy to do in a small program. So when I saw the opportunity to come to one of the largest programs in America, a very large residency program, and a chance to say, let's see if these principles and ways of teaching and culture development methods, let's see if they work in a really large program. That was really one of the driving forces to come to Indiana, in addition to the challenge and the thrill of coming back to your alma mater. I think another reason that attracted me to Indiana University was its long-time reputation in global surgery with their program in AMPATH and in Kenya. So when I arrived, having been engaged in global surgery myself over the last several years, I made my first trip to Kenya in February after arriving here in August. At the time, there was no full-time faculty surgeon in Kenya, and that was a real challenge. And so I came home and immediately began looking for that surgeon. And so over the last 9 years, we've had 3 separate surgeons, each doing 3-year terms, and it's really been outstanding for us to have a full-time member of the Department of Surgery on the faculty in Kenya. Now we have 30 residents in training there. We really see it as a challenge to train the surgeons of sub-Saharan Africa. And so we've continued to focus on making their educational experience better and richer, working with that full-time surgeon over the last several years. So it's been a tremendous opportunity, and one of the things that I look back on with great pride and a great deal of satisfaction in my time here. I think over the years, the things that I'm most proud of is some of the work that we did on handovers. So when work hours became restricted to try to improve the quality of life of residents, suddenly they were turning over patients more frequently, instead of being there for 2 days in a row every 18 hours or so. And so we did a lot of work on what do high reliability organizations do to increase safety in those kinds of environments where you're constantly turning over personnel. Early on, we began to do research on evaluation of an operative experience. So in the past, you evaluated an entire month's experience of a surgical trainee. And we said many years ago, no, we need an evaluation of one specific operative procedure, and that's going to be most useful in their training. So we really have done a series of research projects developing methodologies. Now it's an app on your iPhone to be able to evaluate every single operative procedure relatively soon after it's done. And I would say the third thing is a technique we call the BID method in teaching. It's probably what's most circulated across the United States. It's a way of, with a particular trainee, briefing at the scrub sink what we're going to focus on, then focusing on that in the operating room, and then debriefing at the end of the case. And some of that methodology has really improved the quality of teaching in the operating room. I think when I chose to specialize in breast surgery, I don't think I fully realized what a tremendous medium this was to meld this with my career as a surgical educator. You spend so much time in the clinic arena with patients and counseling and interacting with patients. It provided a perfect opportunity to teach those interaction skills so vital for young students and residents. And then all of the issues in the operating room. It really has been a career, because of my focus in breast cancer, that has been a great opportunity to utilize the best teaching techniques both in the clinic and the operating room in a career as a breast surgeon.